Welcome back. Before we get into today's episode, I need to take a moment to share my love for Costco and to recommend a podcast if you're a fellow Costco fan. I've been obsessed with Costco ever since I first walked into one while living in Chicago, and I dropped my Sam's Club membership immediately, never looking back. There's so many reasons that I am obsessed with Costco. Their product selection is top notch. Their filet mignon is a must try. Their return policy is unbeatable. And I love that I see the same employees year after year, which tells me that they're a great employer. And a few months ago, I was chatting with another mom at my daughter's swim practice about how happy I am that I bought Costco stock a few years ago. These are the type of dorky conversations I have with my friends. And I was laughing about the fact that my husband occasionally suggests that I should sell some of my Costco stock, but I refuse because I'm obsessed. That's when she asked me if I had listened to the Costco episode on the Acquired podcast. I had not, but I immediately devoured all 3 hours of it. And yes, you heard me correctly, 3 hours, all about Costco's success. Now, I was an investment banker for 7 years, so I fully embrace my finance nerd side. But I have to tell you that the mom who recommended the podcast to me is an allergist. And since then, I have shared it with tons of friends who have zero finance background, and they have all loved it too. I was recently reminded of this episode about Costco because another podcast I listened to had the Acquired hosts on, and they shared that the Costco episode is their most popular episode they have ever done. So, whether you think Costco is overhyped or you're just as obsessed as I am, I highly recommend this episode if you're looking for a good listen, and I'll link to it in the show notes. And of course, I'd love to hear from you guys. Have you listened to the Acquired Costco episode? Did it change how you think about Costco? Let's talk about it over on Instagram. Drop your thoughts in the comments on today's episode post. All right, let's dive into today's episode about my thoughts on melatonin. In 2024, a survey conducted by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine revealed that nearly half, 45%, of parents have given melatonin to a child under the age of 18 in an effort to help them sleep. So, if you've been giving your child melatonin or you've been thinking about it, this tells me that you are not alone. Since I get asked every single week about my thoughts on melatonin, I thought it was time to record an episode on this topic. If you've been giving your child melatonin or are considering trying it, this episode is for you. Hi, I'm Allison Egidi, a pediatric sleep and wellness coach and a mom of two. I love to help parents find solutions. This is How Long Till Bedtime. It probably won't surprise you to hear that more than half of the children over the age of 3 who I work with have been given melatonin. In fact, I suspect that number is actually closer to 75% of the children I work with who are 3 or older. They've either been on melatonin and sleep has been a mess since getting off, or they're currently taking melatonin when we start to work together. Of course, as a sleep coach, my numbers are going to be higher than the average because I typically work with children who are struggling with their sleep. So today I'm going to share with you what I share with my clients when we discuss melatonin. But before I get into my thoughts, I want to be clear. I am not here to judge anyone for giving their child melatonin. I 100% believe that we are all doing the best we can with the knowledge that we have. The vast majority of the families I work with have sought their pediatrician's advice, and melatonin was recommended to them. However, most of these families were not informed about the potential downside of using melatonin. Most parents plan to use melatonin as a short-term tool, but they often struggle to transition their child off of melatonin while maintaining good sleep habits. While I agree that melatonin may be an effective short term tool to help reset some children's sleep after something like travel or other temporary disruptions, I am not a big fan of melatonin use, especially long term. And here are 5 reasons why. Number one, it can cause night wakings, nightmares, and night terrors. This often surprises parents. Support for this episode comes from my absolute favorite toy store, Shenanigans. If you're in Charlottesville, you already know this is the place to find high quality, unique, and super fun toys for kids of all ages. But here's the best part, they actually ship worldwide. The owner, Amanda, is a former teacher, assistant principal, and a mom. So she totally understands what makes a toy both fun and enriching. Whether you're looking for the perfect birthday gift, a special surprise, or, like me, your annual beach vacation puzzle, this is the place to shop. Not sure what to get? They offer personalized shopping support so you can talk to a real person for expert gift recommendations. Plus, every order comes with free, high-quality gift wrapping, so your present is ready to go as soon as it arrives. Amanda created a special code just for our listeners. Use the code SLEEP to get free shipping on your first order. And don't forget to note that you would like to take advantage of their amazing free gift wrapping. Head over to shenanigans.toys and support this incredible small business today. Some children, I might venture to say a lot of children, will experience increased or more intense night wakings or unsettling dreams while taking melatonin. It can also cause night terrors when you weren't dealing with those before. All of this can be even more disruptive to sleep. So while melatonin may help a child fall asleep faster or easier at bedtime, it can have these other effects that can be even more disruptive to sleep. Number 2, it can cause other side effects. Some of the most common side effects include morning sleepiness, drowsiness, and increased nighttime urination. Number 3, children can develop a psychological dependence on it. A lot of kids will start to believe that they need melatonin to fall asleep, which can make it even harder to develop independent sleep skills. I always think about this story that one of my good friends told me when she went with her daughter on a middle school field trip. And they were in a hotel, and she was with this group of 4 girls. And they, other than her daughter, were all talking about how they absolutely cannot sleep without melatonin. And it made me so sad for them because chances are they can. But in their head, they feel like they can't. And I have seen this happen with kids as young as 3, thinking that they need their sleep gummy or sleep vitamin, whatever parents are calling it. They think they need it before they can fall asleep. So it's really something to be aware of. Number 4, it is not well studied in children. While short-term use is technically considered relatively safe, there is limited research on long-term effects. There are concerns about melatonin's potential impact on puberty and hormonal balance in growing children. This is something they are starting to study more. And so I would tell you, if someone tells you that you shouldn't worry about the long-term effects and that it's definitely safe, I would seriously question that. Our generation did not grow up taking melatonin. Therefore, in my opinion, our kids are the experiment for melatonin. It is through our children that they will learn if there are long-term negative consequences. And I don't think we should be signing our children up for that. Number 5, it's a dietary supplement and it isn't regulated. Because melatonin is classified as a supplement rather than a medication, its production is not tightly regulated, and the actual melatonin content can vary significantly from what the product label says. In 2023, JAMA published the findings of a study that analyzed 25 different melatonin gummies. 5 of the 25 had less than the bottle mentioned, but several had more. In fact, one had more than 3% more melatonin than the bottle said. That means we can't necessarily even rely on the dosages that the bottle says and know how much melatonin you're actually giving your child. In that study, 22 of the 25 tested melatonin gummies were inaccurately labeled. So, if your child is struggling with sleep, I encourage you to focus on sleep hygiene, consistent bedtime routines, and behavioral strategies before considering melatonin. And if you've already started melatonin, I promise you that you can always transition your child off of it. I can't think of a single child I've worked with in the last 8 years where we didn't successfully transition them off melatonin by implementing a solid sleep plan that set their body up for natural production of adequate melatonin and taught the child to have confidence around their sleep. And I'm talking about hundreds of children I've worked with who are on melatonin. If you'd like to learn more about how I help families transition off of melatonin or avoid starting it, I'll share links in the show notes for my online program that's for 2.5 to 6-year-olds. It's called Your Preschool Sleep Champion. And I'll also share a link about our one-on-one sleep consultation services for children who are 10 and under. And you can always schedule a free 15-minute get acquainted call to fill me in on what's going on, and I can let you know how I can help. I hope this episode was helpful, and if you don't already, please follow the podcast on your favorite podcast platform so that you'll never miss a future episode. As always, thanks for listening. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to How Long Till Bedtime. To learn how we can work together to improve your child's sleep, please visit sleepandwellnesscoach.com.